The bell above the forge door gives a tired clink, the kind of sound that feels more like an echo than a chime. You pause, your hand resting on the anvil, sweat glistening on your brow, as the sound fades into the stillness of dusk. Outside, the world is bathed in a soft orange glow as the sun begins its slow descent beyond the hills. The smell of warm iron, old wood, and distant bread ovens drifts gently through the open shutters. The air is heavy with heat, but beneath it, something colder lingers, something quiet, tense. You've been working since before the cocks crow, hammer in hand, shoulder aching, breath in rhythm with each strike of metal. The forge is your world, has always been your world. The flames, the bellows, the sparks that rise like tiny stars and fade before they touch the ground. This is where you live, where you think, where you lose yourself. But tonight feels different. The village has been quiet today, too quiet. No children laughing near the bakery. No clatter of hooves on the cobbled path. No tavern songs drifting on the breeze. Just wind and the occasional flutter of wings from the eaves. Your hands still smell of soot and ash. Under your nails, the black dust of hours spent shaping plowshares and horseshoes, mending swords for guards who may never return. You wash them in the wooden basin, the water already tinged gray from the day's labor. Then you hear it. Not a sound, not exactly. A pressure, a shift in the wind. You step outside. Your boots crunch softly against gravel, and for a moment, there's peace in the view. The rooftops of the village stretch before you like an old storybook illustration. Crooked chimneys, mossy shingles, lanterns flickering behind leaded glass windows. But over the thatch of the baker's house, a haze rises. Subtle at first, like mist, then sharper, darker, redder. Smoke. You feel in your lungs before you truly see it. A dry sting. The smell of burning oil, straw, and wood. The bell in the church tower does not ring. No one cries out, but the fire is spreading. You begin walking, instinctively toward the center of the village, your leather apron still tied around your waist, hammer still hanging from your belt. Each footstep echoes in the silence, swallowed by ash. A woman rushes past you, eyes wide with fear. Her arms carry bundles, cloth, maybe, or a child. She does not speak. Others begin to appear from narrow alleys and creaking doors, their faces lit by the rising flames. No one screams. That, somehow, is the worst part. It's as if the village knows this fire, as if it's been waiting for it. You pass your neighbor's house, a stonemason, the door swung open, his tools scattered on the steps. The scent of pine from his timber walls mixes with the burning hay. Sparks leap from rooftop to rooftop like fireflies with teeth. And still, no sound from the bell tower. You stop at the fountain, in the square. Its water still runs clear, though flecks of ash now swirl at the surface. You dip your hand in, cooling your skin, watching as ripples dance across the surface like memories. It was here at this fountain that your father taught you to hold a hammer. Right here, beneath the elm tree that no longer stands. You were 6, maybe 7. Your hands couldn't lift the tool, not yet, but he told you. The blacksmith's work is the village's heartbeat. When your forge is silent, the whole town feels it. You wonder now, did your silence help birth this fire? From across the square, you see the old chapel collapse inward. Timbers groaning, glass windows exploding in a shower of red and blue. Embers fly into the air like shooting stars. You feel the heat against your chest. Still no bell, still no soldiers. Only dusk and fire and silence. You begin to run. You run not with fear, but with memory. Your legs carry you past the old bakery, its door hanging loose from charred hinges. The smell of burnt flour and sweet pastries twists the air into something sickly nostalgic. You remember when the baker's daughter gave you warm rye bread for fixing her father's wagon wheel. She smiled, shy, grateful, eyes full of quiet fire. That fire is everywhere now. Your boots thud against uneven stones, the familiar rhythm of your childhood streets turns strange in the smoke. You reach the wooden footbridge over the creek, the one you helped build in your younger years, sanding each plank by hand. Now, its beams glow a deep orange, catching flame at the edges. A cart is toppled in the middle of the path, its wheels still slowly spinning, as if time itself hasn't caught up yet. You climb over it, careful not to touch the burning canvas. Sparks bite at your sleeves. Ahead, the inn is ablaze. Its windows erupt outward with sudden force, glass shards spilling like rain. The wooden beams crackle and scream as they fall inward, collapsing onto tables and benches that once held laughter, song, and spilled ale. You stand still, just for a breath. You remember so clearly one autumn night, years ago. You had your first pint here. Your hand trembled on the mug, and the blacksmith before you, old Harlan, with his crooked smile and hands of iron, patted your shoulder. "Drink slow, boy," he said. "The fire in the forge will outlast the fire in the belly." He was wrong, you think now. Fire takes what it wants. A child cries behind you. You turn, fast, and spot a young boy huddled beneath a wooden cart. His cheeks are streaked with soot, and his small hands grip a doll fashioned from straw and thread. His lips tremble, but he makes no sound, just stares. You kneel beside him, gently touching his shoulder. "It's all right," you whisper, though your own heart beats like a hammer. "We're leaving now, come on." He nods. You lift him into your arms, light as a bundle of firewood, and wrap your cloak around his frame. His fingers clutch your apron strap as you move. The fire is closer now, not just on buildings, but in the very sky. Clouds of smoke roll over rooftops like dark waves. The sun is nearly gone, and the last light of day bleeds through ash like candlelight behind stained glass. Everywhere, silence and crackling. You reach the town square again. The fountain still flows, stubbornly. The statue in its center, a knight with sword raised, stands like a memory of protection that never came. Around you, the few remaining villagers gather, mothers, elders, children. They stand close but say nothing. No one knows what started the fire. A torch dropped? A raid? A forgotten hearth? It no longer matters. From the hill above the village, flames rise toward the forest. The trees themselves burn now, their trunks glowing red from within, like veins filled with molten sorrow. The boy in your arms stirs. He whispers, so faintly, "Will it take the animals too?" You don't know how to answer. You close your eyes and take a breath. The scent of pine smoke, molten metal, scorched cloth, all mixing in your lungs. Your mind wanders, not to fear, but to memory. You think of the forge, your tools, your father's workbench, still bearing his initials carved into the wood. The horseshoes aligned on the wall, each one slightly bent in your own signature way. You wonder, will anything remain? Will someone years from now walk these ashes and find the twisted silhouette of your anvil, and wonder who once stood there? The sky darkens into deep indigo. The fire glows brighter now, not because it grows, but because night is falling. Night and silence. You look to the people gathered, their faces lit by the soft pulsing of distant flame. The boy nestles his head against your shoulder. And then, somewhere far behind you, the church bell rings. Once, slowly, heavily like a voice from a grave. You close your eyes again. Your forge is gone. Your tools are gone. But your hands, they remain. You are a blacksmith. You make things, even in fire. Even now, the bell echoes only once, then fades. Its sound is swallowed by the hush of smoke and the breathless stillness of the evening. Yet it lingers, in your chest, in your memory. You gently set the child down near the fountain's edge. He sits cross-legged now, watching the way the ashes swirl across the stone like tiny paper birds. You skin the square. Others have gathered. Half-lit faces, streaked with sweat and soot, but calm. They do not cry. They do not ask why. Like you, they simply stand, waiting for the next breath, the next answer, the next hour. Some of them look to you, not because you are the strongest, not because you are the bravest, but because the blacksmith always remains standing. Your shoulders are wide. Your voice is steady. Your hands do not shake, not yet. And in times of collapse, that is enough to lead. So you do. You take a few steps to the edge of the square and face them. "We go east," you say softly, your voice barely above the wind, "toward the orchard path. There's water in the river, and shelter in the old mill house. They nod, no words, just trust. A woman with silver in her hair takes the boy's hand. A baker, you think, or was she the candlemaker's wife? You can't recall. Time bends in firelight. Faces blur. But hands are still real. Warm. Strong. You lead them away from the square. Your boots crunch over broken pottery, fallen beams, and dry leaves. The village is no longer a place. It is a sound, a taste, a heat on your back. It burns behind you, and yet it does not let you go. With every step, you remember something. The stable where you once helped birth a foal, your arms elbow deep in warmth and fear. The alley where you kissed someone beneath the rain. Just once, just long enough to remember for years. The well, with its creaking rope and rusty bucket, where the boys carved names into the stones, yours still hidden beneath the moss. And then, through the last row of cottages, the open fields. Grass untouched. Sky, now dark, but no longer angry. The stars are beginning to appear, tentative and soft, like candles in the sky. The moon peeks through the smoke, pale and tired, like a watchful friend. You hear the river now, its gentle whisper cutting through the hush. You guide the villagers along the worn footpath. The old mill house still stands, leaning, creaking, forgotten by time, but it is whole. Inside, the air is cool, dry. You enter last. They sit where they can, against barrels, on woven sacks of barley near broken looms. Some sleep already, their bodies curl like questions in the shadows. And you walk outside again. You sit on a large stone beside the river, watching the current swirl over rocks. The fire in the village still burns, a dull glow now, like coals beneath a blanket. The wind has shifted. You can breathe again. Your apron is scorched. Your arms ache. Your hands, still blackened with soot. You dip them into the river. Coolness wraps around your fingers. It stings, but in a clean way, like healing. The sound of the water is steady, rhythmic, almost like hammering. You smile at the thought. For years, that rhythm shaped your life. Wake, stoke the fire, smelt the ore, hammer the blade, quench, polish, begin again. The same heat that forged swords now devours homes. But heat is not the enemy. It is what we do with it. And tomorrow, when the ashes cool and the sun rises once more over the blackened fields, you will build again. You will find your hammer. You will make something new. You don't know how long you sit there, beside the river. The coolness against your palms is soothing, anchoring, as if time slows each time the water laps against stone. The sounds of night settle softly around you. Owls in the trees, insects whispering in the grass, the wind sighing through scorched reeds. Behind you, the mill house rests in silence. A silence not born of fear, but of exhaustion, grief, relief, a strange kind of peace. You tilt your head back and look to the sky. The stars are brighter now, as if the smoke has begun to lift, carried away by the same breeze that fans your face. One star twinkles alone, just above the tree line. You used to believe that the first star you saw at night could carry a wish. You don't remember when you stopped believing that, but tonight it feels real again. You whisper nothing aloud, but the wish is there, that something somehow will remain. Not the buildings, not even the forge, but the story, your village, your people, the quiet work of years, the smell of rain on cobblestone, the laughter in the tavern, the creak of wagon wheels at dawn, the hush of snowfall on the chapel roof. All of it not lost, just waiting. You take a deep breath, letting it fill your chest. And for the first time since the fire began, you close your eyes. The river keeps moving. The stars keep burning. And you, Blacksmith, are still here. When you wake, it is still dark, but the night feels different, quieter, cleaner. You step back inside the mill house. Some villagers sleep with arms wrapped around each other. A mother cradles her daughter beneath her shawl. The boy from the square lies curled near an empty sack, his straw doll tucked beneath his chin. You smile softly. Then you walk to the edge of the mill house and find a cracked wooden bucket. You fill it from the river and begin to clean, not because anyone asks you to, but because it feels right. The floorboards are dusty, covered in soot and cobwebs. There is no forge here, no fire, just wood, water, and time. You sweep with your hands. You scrub with your sleeves. You straighten sacks, stack broken stools, realign the barrels in one corner. No one watches you. No one needs to. This is what you do. This is who you are. When morning finally arrives, it is quiet. Birdsong returns first, hesitant and small. Then the scent of dew on burnt grass. The first golden light stretches through the gaps in the millhouse walls, spilling across sleeping faces like a blessing. One by one, people begin to stir. They speak in hushed tones. A few cry. A few sit in stillness, staring at the floor. And yet, something gentle lives in the silence. A shared understanding. A beginning. You step outside again. And from the edge of the hill, you can see what remains. Smoke still rises from the village. Hollow rooftops. Burnt beams. But beneath the ash, here and there, stone walls remain. The well. The outer fence. A few iron hinges, still clinging to blackened doors. Not much, but something. You glance down at your hands again. Blackened, scraped, blistered. You flex your fingers and feel the strength that never left you. It is enough. You turn back to the others, now stepping into morning's light. They look to you again, not expecting miracles, only direction. And so with a nod you speak. We'll return. Not today, but soon. And we'll rebuild. The boy smiles. The woman with the silver hair nods once. The blacksmith does not promise safety or answers, only work. And work is hope made real. You begin with a single nail, bent, rusted, unearthed from the edge of the village road 2 mornings after the fire. You kneel beside it, brush it clean with your thumb, and place it in your palm like a relic. Something once discarded, now holding purpose again. You slip it into your pouch. There is no forge, no fire, but your hands remember. You walk slowly through the village's hushed ruins. The scent of ash still lingers, but it no longer chokes the air. Rain fell during the night, gentle, steady. A gift. The earth is soft beneath your boots. Footprints mark the soil, like a quiet ledge of the ones who have returned. You are not alone. Others have begun to come back, not to live, not yet, but to look, to touch walls still standing, to retrieve what little was left behind. One woman sits on the threshold of her collapsed cottage, cupping a cracked teacup in her hands. A man runs his palm along a scorched fence post, whispering to it like an old friend. A little girl tiptoes through the ashes of her garden, picking through flower roots with tiny fingers. No one speaks loudly. The village is a cathedral of memories now. You step through the remnants of your own workshop. The forge is blackened stone. The bellows are gone. Only the iron ring from its handle remains, half melted and embedded in the dirt. A piece of your father's anvil lies cracked in 2. You kneel beside it and press your hand to the cool metal. You remember his voice, low, patient, rhythmic, speaking over the clatter of hammers. Every blade must pass through fire. Every tool must break once before it's ready to last. You stand slowly and begin to gather. You find tongs, bent and half buried near the corner post. A water pail, blackened but whole. A half-finished horseshoe. 2 nails. A small wooden box of charcoal, still dry beneath a collapsed shelf. Piece by piece you begin, not to rebuild the forge, not yet, but to reclaim its memory. You pile the usable iron and tools near the village square. By midday, others have joined you. The carpenter, missing 2 fingers now, lays out salvage planks beside your pile. The weaver brings 2 unburnt spools of thread. The old man from the mill house carries a satchel of seeds. Each one brings what they have. Not much, but something. No one needs to speak. There is no plan, and yet, somehow, there is. You work until the light fades, then walk back to the river. That night, the stars are clearer than they've been in weeks. You sit by the water again, your back against a flat stone still warm from the sun. The village lies behind you, but it no longer feels lost. It feels like soil waiting for seed. You close your eyes, and when you sleep, you dream not of fire, but of hammers, of glowing coals, of metal being shaped in the hands of those who remember how. The days that follow do not move quickly. Time slows in the aftermath of fire. It stretches like cooling iron, soft, heavy, shaped not by urgency, but by the rhythm of quiet decisions. Each morning, you rise before the sun. You step barefoot into the dewy grass, letting the earth remind you that it is still alive beneath the scars. You wash your hands in the river, then begin again, the same way your father once did, and his father before him. You begin not with fire, but with order. Stone first, then timber, then metal. The forge will be last. In the meantime, you stack bricks where the blackened foundation used to be. You sort salvage tools into neat rows along the edge of the square. The others follow suit, each finding a place to tend, to mend, to hold. The village breathes, not deeply, not steadily, but it breathes. You hear it in the carpenter's whistle as he planes a soot-stained beam. You feel it in the warmth of bread shared among ash-covered fingers. You see it in the eyes of the boy with the straw doll, no longer wide with fear, but curious now, watching how things are built. You teach him how to tie a knot, how to carry timber without splinters, how to find a grain in wood. He listens closely. One afternoon, while sorting nails, he asks, "Will the village ever look the same again?" You pause, a horseshoe in one hand, a rusted hinge in the other. "No," you say quietly, "but it will feel the same if we build it with the same hands." He nods slowly, then goes back to counting nails, lips moving with each number. You smile. Later, as the sun slips behind the western ridge, the air takes on that familiar amber hush, the kind that once signaled the end of a long day at the forge. But instead of hammering, you hear footsteps, the sound of people returning, not just the ones who fled, but others too, from nearby farms, from the outskirts, from beyond the trees, drawn by the smoke, perhaps, or by the stories. A man brings chickens. A woman arrives with jars of herbs. A traveling merchant, hearing there is need, unloads a cart wool, nails, and candle stubs. They ask for no coin, only a place to rest, a chance to help. You find yourself surprised not by their kindness, but by how normal it feels, because this is what you've always believed. A village is not stone or straw. It is not the number of roofs or size of its market. A village is people, and people, when given the chance, will build. One evening, beneath the starlit sky, a song rises in the old tavern ruins. Someone hums it first, a simple, wordless melody. Then two voices join, then four, then many. You do not know who begins it, but you know the tune. Everyone does. It's the kind of song sung at harvest, or weddings, or on stormy nights when candles burn low and firelight dances on the walls. It is not a loud song, not a perfect one, but it holds the air. And in that moment, beneath the gentle pull of moonlight, something ancient stirs inside you. Not memory, not sorrow, but resolve. The forge begins with silence, not with fire, not with hammering, but with a space reclaimed. You sweep the ash from the floor, not because it will stay clean, but because beginnings deserve ceremony. You rebuild the walls with care, setting each stone where it used to sit, but sturdier this time. The mortar is fresh. The beams are thicker. You drive the nails slowly, feeling their resistance, listening to the old timbers creak as they settle. The anvil is returned to its place. Cracked, yes, but no longer broken. The pieces have been fused with molten iron, poured carefully and cooled over many hours. The seam where it was mended still glows faintly when struck by morning sun. You run your hand across it, the metal cool beneath your palm, smooth, heavy, alive. And then, on the fourth day of building, the coal arrives, brought by car from a mine to the north. A gift, the merchant says, from a village that remembers its own fire. You thank him with a firm grip and a loaf of bread. He leaves without a word, only a nod. That evening, as the stars rise again in their usual quiet rhythm, you light the forge. The fire is gentle at first. You feed it slowly, a few coals, then kindling, then your breath through the bellows, steady, even, practiced. The flames rise, not wild but loyal. They do not roar. They do not take. They warm. You hammer the first piece not for work, but for memory. A square of iron. Simple. You shape it until it is even on all sides. You press your maker's mark in the corner. A crescent moon above crossed tongs. And you hang it over the door, not to impress, but to say, this is ours again. People gather as they once did. Not many, but enough to fill the air with presents. Some bring tools to repair. Some just stand and watch. The boy with the straw doll now carries a satchel filled with scraps, spent nails, bits of wire, and he sorts them in small rows along the forge bench. You show him how to hold the tongs, how to grip the hammer near the end, how to listen to the pitch of metal when it bends, that high, ringing note that tells you whether it's soft enough or needs more heat. He doesn't speak much, but his eyes absorb everything. And when he finally lifts the hammer himself, you place your hand gently over his and guide it down. The ring of iron on iron is soft, hollow, and beautiful. The village hears it, and something shifts. That sound, your sound, is back. That night, you sit alone in the forge after everyone is gone. The coals glow quietly. The walls still smell of new timber, smoke, and oil. You remove your apron, place it gently on the stool, and let yourself rest. Your arms ache, your back tightens, but your heart is still. You close your eyes and listen. The world outside is peaceful. No flames, no fear, only wind through the grass, and the occasional lowing of a cow returned to its paddock. You breathe deeply, and you say only to yourself, we are still here. Days passed softly, like the drifting ash that once blanketed the rooftops, now replaced by golden dust, floating gently through morning sunlight. Your work continues, not rushed, not loud, but steady, grounding. You make hinges, nails, horseshoes, gate latches, not for glory, not for coin, but because things must be made, and you are the one who makes them. You work with the door open now, always open, so people can come and go as they used to. They bring broken things, pots, door handles, rusted blades, and leave them at your bench without speaking. Some leave herbs, some leave eggs, some just leave thanks. And sometimes they stay. They sit near the fire, watching the sparks rise, watching you, listening to the rhythm. Hammer, turn, hammer again, the same rhythm as their hearts. Perhaps the same rhythm that once guided the village clock, the bell tower, the seasons. One morning, a woman leaves a scroll, wrapped in cloth, tied with twine, tucked beneath a stack of iron scraps. You find it hours later, hands still blackened from soot. You unroll it carefully. It's a drawing, ink on worn parchment, a child's sketch. There's the forge, the fire, the anvil, and there you are, standing with a hammer in hand, a small boy beside you, the sky above filled with smoke and stars. You stare at it for a long time, not because it's well drawn, but because it sees you, not just your face, but your place in the village, in the story, in this moment. You pin it to the wall beside the window, a window that looks out on the fields now lined with growing things. The mill house still stands by the river. The chapel's bell tower has been rebuilt, not as tall, not as fine, but strong, solid, whole, and the bell rings once more. Each evening, just after dusk, as the first star rises, not to warn, not to mourn, but to remember and to welcome the night. You still walk to the river sometimes. At the edge of evening, when the air cools and the sky deepens into blue, you sit in the same place. The stone is still there, warm from the sun, worn from years of rain, still shaped just right to hold your weight. The river hasn't changed. Its current still hums the same quiet lullaby as the night of the fire. But now, the air smells of life again, of earth and moss and distant bread. And when you close your eyes, you do not see flames anymore. You see hands, working, shaping, lifting. You hear voices, gentle, steady kind. You feel warmth, not from fire, but from presence, from the people, from the work, from the rhythm of what remains. You were the blacksmith when the fire came. You are the blacksmith now. And when your hands are too old to hold a hammer, the boy with the straw doll, no longer a boy, will lift it in your place. He will strike the iron. He will breathe the bellows. And the village will go on. The seasons turn. You notice it first in the light. The way morning sun slides across your forge a little earlier. The way shadows lengthen differently in the square. Then in the wind, cooler, sharper, brushing to the trees with a whispered change. Autumn, the time of harvest, of golden fields and slow fires, of preparation. The forge grows busy again, not with urgency, but with rhythm. Tools to mend, hoes to reshape, locks to fix before winter's frost. The kind of work that anchors a village, that speaks not in grand gestures, but in quiet usefulness. You rise before dawn most days. Stoke the coals. Warm your hands by the fire. You still wear the same leather apron, patched now in several places, and your hands still bear the same calluses. But something has softened inside you, not weakened, just deepened. There is peace in repetition, in the feel of iron under your grip, in the scent of oak smoke on your shirt, in the sound of that same bell, ringing gently from the rebuilt chapel tower each evening. The boy still comes, taller now, his eyes sharper, his grip firmer. He no longer asks questions with his voice, only with his hands. You guide him less now. Let him make his own strikes. Let him feel the metal shift beneath his effort. Let him fail and try again. One day, while shaping a door hinge, he asks, "Did you ever think of leaving after the fire?" You stop, just for a moment, your hammer in the air, then you shake your head. "No," you say, "this place is made of more than wood and stone." He nods, understanding more than you expected. Outside, the village carries on, rebuilt, though not the same, simpler in some ways, slower, but fuller, richer, kinder. Children run again through the alleys, chasing each other with ribbons. The baker's oven now sits beneath a wooden awning in the square, filling the air with warmth and flour. The well has been cleaned, the stones reset, and above it, carved into the wood of its new frame, are words in your father's hand, recovered from an old beam. When the forge is silent, the village listens. You read it every day as you pass, and you remember, not the fire, not the ruin, but the stillness after, and the hands that chose to stay. That evening, you walk through the village one more time before sleep. The lanterns flicker with soft golden light. Windows glow behind woven curtains. Smoke rises from chimneys like prayers made visible. You pass by the chapel, the school, the edge of the orchard. Everything quieter now, older, but stronger. The stars blink above, just beginning to pierce the sky. You pause by the fountain. Its water still flows, always has. A child drops a stone into its pool and watches the ripples. You smile at him, and he smiles back. You turn toward home, toward the forge, and hear the familiar clink of hammer on metal. Not your hammer. His, the boy, the apprentice, the next blacksmith. His rhythm is steady, confident. You sit outside beneath the same open sky and listen, not to fire, not to silence, but to the heartbeat of a village that never stopped. Night settles fully now, not with fear, but with softness. The kind of night that hums low, like a lullaby long forgotten, but instantly familiar. The stars are fully out, silver pinpricks woven through indigo silk, and the moon casts its quiet light across rooftops, fields, and chimneys that no longer smoke with fire, but with supper. You step inside the forge one last time before sleep. It's warm, not hot like the day's labor, but settled, still. The coals glow dimly, enough to comfort, not to burn. The tools are in their place. The boy has gone home. The anvil is silent, but it feels alive. You sit on the old stool. The wood creaks beneath your weight, familiar, faithful. You reach for the cloth on your bench and slowly begin to clean your hands. The soot has been worked deep into the lines of your skin, but you don't mind. These are not stains. They're stories. Outside, the wind moves gently through the thatch and beams, carrying with it the smell of hay, bread, and pine. Someone laughs softly in the distance, a sound that rises, then fades like candlelight. You close your eyes. Your breath slows. Your shoulders relax. And in that space, In the stillness of work complete and day surrendered, you feel it. Peace. Not because everything is perfect, not because nothing was lost, but because what matters remains. The fire that destroyed has given way to warmth. The silence that followed has given way to song. And you, the blacksmith, remain exactly where you are meant to be. You have built again. And what you've built is not just walls or roofs or tools. You have built memory, belonging, a rhythm that others now carry forward strike by strike, day by day. And as you finally rise and dim the last of the lanterns, you speak, not aloud, but within, "Tomorrow I will lift the hammer again. But tonight you rest. The village sleeps. The forge cools. The stars keep watch. And